Welcome to Pep Talks with Eric, where we shift gears from negative feedback loops and drive towards the life we truly want. I'm your host, Eric Ayers. I believe in the power of Ubuntu. I am because we are. Together, we'll explore how connections fuel our growth and create amazing experiences. In this podcast, we'll tune out the noise of the world and tune into what we really want and what really matters. Guys, welcome to another episode of Pep Talks with Coach Eric. I'm your host, Coach Eric, and I'm super excited for today's episode. I'm going to start by reading his about section from his website. All right. He says when he was quitting his demanding corporate IT job at a customer relations management company, it was a life-changing decision. Burnout pushed him to explore new horizons, leading him to culinary arts, functional nutrition, and sales training. And then each step reignited his passion and guided him back to technology with a renewed purpose to help others make a bigger impact. That's huge. As he's thriving to empower service-based businesses to harness CRM technology to stand out, build lasting, meaningful connections that drive sustainable growth. He's a powerhouse. I call him the networking ninja for so many reasons, and we're going to dive into that. But today's guest is Brandon Drake. And Brandon, I am so excited for you to be here, man. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm really excited to reconnect with you, just on a bigger audience, just to share our stories or whatnot, and share that inspiration and motivation. I can't wait to, talk more.
Absolutely, man. And I feel honored and privileged because you've introduced me to so many amazing people, and I'm honored to reciprocate that on a different scale, on a different stage. So thank you for allowing me this opportunity, man.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
So networking ninja, why do I call you networking ninja? All right, guys. I will get random emails from Brandon that's like, hey, I have a potential connection that may or may not help you, right? Please see their profile. Let me know. And I'm like, this seems intriguing. I don't know where the connection is. And then Brandon makes this introduction. I meet this other person, and we both are like, oh, now we know why Brandon introduced us. His ability to connect two people together that don't know each other is like nothing short of magic. And Brandon represents and houses the concept of Ubuntu, the I am because we are, the plural form of humanity, the what's on my sweatshirt. He represents that in a technological society. And that is amazing. And that's what's intrigued me about you, beyond the fact that you're just a super cool dude, man.
Yeah, I really enjoy connecting with people and learning about how I could help other people in my network, whether they're a prospect, a customer, or a networking partner. I just want to continue to provide value to anybody that comes into my network that is a good, genuine person that really just wants to do good in terms of what they're doing for their work. And I really enjoy people that are really passionate about what they do, because I am as well. And I want to match each other's energy to see how we could make things happen and see each other grow.
Oh, it's awesome. I love watching you continue to tap into your purpose. And from that, things just continue to open up, right? Like we'll dive into your CRM in a little bit. That's just a super cool story. But before we get to that, share a little bit about your journey, that your transition from the corporate world maybe into what you're doing now.
Yeah, so my education, was in computer information systems and business systems analysis. So I'm naturally a very analytical person. And that's what I did in the corporate world, doing a lot of reporting, a lot of data migration, anything data related. I was a data guy. Like my nickname is Healthy Data Guy. And the reason why, in the beginning, I was a data guy because I was pigeonholed into that position because I was good at that. But I got to the point where I was just getting really burnt out with the CRM company I was working with, where I was doing tons of data migrations every day. And the company, they got bought out and the environment totally changed where it was very transactional. They set quotas up for us that we had to meet weekly and then monthly. And it got so transactional, and I was just working 10 to 12 hours a day for 6 months straight. And I think any person would just be burnt out. I was definitely burnt out, and I was just that last 2 or 3 months I was looking like, what can I do? Like, I know I'm good at this, but I want to do something different. Like, I just don't like this environment anymore. Um, and I said, you know what? Health and wellness is something that's important to me. So, you know what? I think I'm gonna research some kind of culinary school or health school to go to, and just quit what I'm doing now. So eventually, when I found what I wanted to do, it was more of a pre-planned uh quitting. I said, you know what, I'm done with this job. They actually tried to keep me, and they gave me more money and said, oh, you could work from home, but I was like, I don't care about that. Like, I'm good. So I said, thank you for that. I appreciate you value me, but I just want to do something totally different. And so I went to holistic nutrition and culinary arts school. It was a different type of schooling where it was learning how to cook for people based on their health conditions. And so it was connected to health and connected to food. And I really enjoyed that piece. And I enjoyed that process. I met a lot of really good heart-centered, service-oriented, health-related type of people that were like my kind of people that I just really resonated with. I learned a lot from them. I learned a lot from the administration, the teachers or whatnot. And after I got done, I started my own business. I was a therapeutic personal chef and a functional nutritionist. And I enjoyed that work because now I was helping people, being very service oriented, but helping them overcome their health challenges using meal planning and or cooking for them. And I really loved seeing that process of them overcoming those health challenges and seeing them be independent of me, whether it's me either cooking for them or teaching them like what foods are allowing them to heal accordingly based on whatever health conditions. And I was mainly focusing on people with metabolic health issues like heart attack, stroke, prediabetes, diabetes, hypertension, like a lot of the ailments and chronic issues that many Americans deal with or whatnot is very prevalent. And the reason why I chose that, the why behind it is because my grandparents on both my mom and dad's side suffered and passed away from either heart attack, stroke, double, triple bypass surgery, diabetes, stuff like that. And I didn't want anybody else to have to go through those issues because those issues are fixable, you know? And I wanted them to elongate their lives by being able to still have tasty but therapeutic foods that allows them to heal. And that meant a lot to me. That was my purpose and my why I did what I was doing. And also too, during that time when I was cooking for people and creating tailored menus and cooking for them, I also went to functional nutrition school so I could be even more valuable to my client base because it's all about self-developing and continually learning. Like, I don't like a stagnant lifestyle. Like, that's what I felt like when I was in corporate, doing the same thing over and over again. So after I got done with functional nutrition school, then I added a new thing to my tool belt where I could actually coach people. So now I was coaching people and or cooking for people depending on what their needs were. I really enjoyed that. And that's when I discovered networking as well. I created a lot of really good networking partners where we would really look out for each other to see how we could support each other. And I like that community-oriented environment. And through networking, that's how I found my next opportunity, which I never expected. So yeah.
Oh, okay. So I've heard this story a couple times. And each time I hear it, like I can feel the energy behind it. But also like if you trace it, you can see the connection points of you were doing data migration, right? Through a customer relation management company.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that there's very minimal human connection, human interaction during that data migration. Am I correct?
Yes. And here's the thing, like whenever I was working those 10 to 12 hours a day, and people came up to me and had to talk to me or ask me questions, I had to turn them down and be like, hey, I can't talk to you right now. Like, I'm focused on this because I have to meet my quotas, I have to meet my numbers. And then whenever I talked to the client, it was more like just all about just getting the work done. And no like really human, like a human touch type of environment. It's basically like shoving the solution down the throat, move on to the next one. And I had to do that because I was against the gun, meaning I had to meet my quota.
Right.
And so there was no like human interaction that was like truly just human, like, hey, how's it going? Like, stuff like that. It's more like business. Let's get it done.
Yeah.
We have
Right.
this, you have to do it by tomorrow at 5 o'clock or whatever it may be,
Yeah. And that pressure coming from, okay, because I didn't know you then, but I know you since then, and you have a yearning for helping humans, helping people become better people, right?
Yeah.
So taking that away, of course, that's going to create misalignment, thereby leading to burnout. And then, and I highlight this because most of us find ourselves in these situations at least once in our life to where we're misaligned and we may not even know what it is. But your next step is like, I don't technically know why I'm burned out other than I'm working 10 to 12 hours a day and I'm not.
Yeah, I wasn't looking at the inner root cause of anything.
Right.
Like, say I'm
You're
burnt
just
out.
like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
I don't like this.
Yeah.
I want something different. And your next step was something so profound of human service. Like in cooking to improve people's health, man, like at a core level, that is huge. And you probably didn't even think of it as big as it was when you made the decision. It was probably like, this, I don't know what's going to happen, but this is a good idea. And I want to learn this.
That's kind of what I was, I don't think it'll happen, but this is really cool. And I want to help people in a different way and more. I thought it was going to be more of a relationship type way anyways. And so I'll go with that and let's see what happens. Let's roll the dice. Something good will come out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like we all have this yearning, this understanding, internal compass of where we need to go. And it's giving ourselves permission to go in that direction. And who knows what'll come from it. And from that, dude, take us into what like developed into what you're doing now, which is besides the networking ninja, you're like your CRM master level Jedi. I think you're a Jedi CRM now, right?
Yeah,
the level you're at.
Yeah. There's a nickname, but yes, CRM consultant. So I never even thought that I would go back into that industry, in the CRM industry, because when I quit my job in the CRM industry, and it was a CRM data migration specialist for the car dealership industry. So we're developing CRMs for car dealerships or whatnot. And so I said, I don't think I'm ever going to work in technology or CRMs ever again. And then little do you know, like that I became a CRM consultant. But the way it happened is, I was always using a CRM in my business behind the scenes to keep track of all my customers and prospects and networking partners. So it allowed me to really stay efficient with my time and very organized, because if you're a growing business and you're growing your list of business contacts, it's definitely beneficial to have a CRM so that you don't let any opportunities slip through the cracks. You stay engaged with all your networking partners, customers, and prospects and any other business contacts. That's what it allows you to do. That is the main core of a CRM, to make sure that you stay engaged with people, create strong relationships, and not let any opportunities slip through the cracks. Because if you don't have a system in place, you're probably going to lose out on many opportunities.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to pause just for a second. For those listening that this may be the first time they're hearing the term CRM.
Oh, yeah.
Give a short little 30 second understanding of what a CRM is.
Yeah. So a CRM is referred to as a customer relationship management system. There's many CRMs out there, hundreds of CRMs, but the core function of a CRM is to manage all your business contacts within a database. And it keeps you accountable to make sure you stay engaged with these contacts, and then allows you to create opportunities for yourself, whether it's turning a prospect into a sale, into a customer, or turning a networking partner into a really good referral partner, and then being able to identify who's worthy of staying in touch with. Like the CRM will actually be able to tell you that, and based on like engagement scoring, which measures how active a person is.
Gotcha.
Because that kind of data is going to give that data is going to give information on who you want to focus your efforts on, because it allows you to make data informed decisions so that you could push your business forward or whatnot. But the main goal is to stay on track with all your business contacts to make sure you don't let any opportunities slip through the cracks. Not having a CRM, maybe like a spreadsheet or a notebook, you're not going to be as efficient. It's going to be inefficient. You're going to be pulling your hair out because you're growing. But that's a good problem to have if you graduate beyond Google Sheets or a spreadsheet or your notebook. It's a great
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you for that. So ultimately, like, it's more than a repository of people. It's the ability to almost set yourself up for success and always
Yeah.
being one step ahead and continuing in a process. So
It keeps track of all the interactions that you've had with every person
okay.
that comes into your CRM, whether it's the phone, if you could record phone calls, you could send SMS text messages, send emails, email campaigns, but it shows all the interaction you've had with a particular person all in one place. So therefore, when you talk to them, you have a more targeted message, and now you remember things about them that are like, wow, he really remembered me. The way to
Yeah.
make yourself different from everybody else because you're actually paying attention and creating a relationship. Hence the reason why it's customer relationship management.
So it's like the digital version
Hmm.
of when you meet um, a VP of a company and the next week you run into them again and they remember your name. Right.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute, they remember my name. It's a human connection of I matter,
Yeah.
and it creates that. So I love the way you explain that. So, okay. Apologies for interrupting. Keep going.
Oh yeah, yeah, no worries. No, so I forgot where we started off at, but that's all right. I think I was getting to how that opportunity came about. So, I was in the background, I was always using a CRM to keep track of all my customers, prospects, networking partners. And one of my really good networking partners recognized that I was really good in technology. He knew I had a background and he knew I used to work for a CRM company. And he gave me a call one day on a late Friday afternoon and it was asking me all these CRM questions. And the questions he was peppering me with reminded me of being a service provider in the CRM company I was working with. And I stopped him. I was like, what's up with all these questions? Like, why are you asking me all these questions? Like, I don't do that anymore. He said, yeah, but you know the answers and you're very good at it. And basically, I just want to know if I could hire you as a CRM trainer or consultant so that you could train me and some of my people on my team to use our CRM to the most of its ability. Because I like how you use CRMs and I want to be able to replicate kind of how you do it as well. And so when he asked me that, like he already knew I wasn't a service provider. He knew I was in the health and wellness business, but he was still asking me. And so I told him, because I know you very well and you're a very good networking partner, I'll do a month's worth of work with you. And he was okay with that. And the reason why I said a month's worth of work is because I don't want to take so much time away from the health thing I was doing because I enjoyed it. So the goal was to just get everything done within a month and go back to being 100%, therapeutic personal chef, functional nutrition coach.
Right.
And I told him if it was anybody else that asked me this, I would have said, hell no, I don't want to do any of that work. Like I'm happy with what I'm doing. But because I knew him, liked him, and trusted him, I said, I'll do a month. I'll do a month's work with you. So after my first session with him of training him, I realized the light bulb went off and I was like, wow, I still like this. This is actually really fun. And I liked it even more because it was a totally different working environment compared to working in the corporate world. In the corporate world, it was very transactional, very one size fits all, treat people like numbers because I had to meet my numbers. So I was forced to be in that environment.
Right.
But like with my first client, I really didn't have any people saying you have to work faster, you have to meet your numbers. Like I could actually take my time and get to know him, his business, his goals, his challenges, his budgetary restraints, and then create and build a solution based on getting to know him and train him and or his employees to make sure that they get the most out of my services that I'm providing to them. And I really enjoyed that process because it was very collaborative. And it reminded me, to be honest with you, it kind of reminded me of me working in the health industry, like coaching people or cooking for people, because both entailed me getting to know my client, getting to know their goals and their challenges and their struggles. And then in the health world, there was building a possibly customized menu or cooking that menu or developing a coaching plan that was tailored toward them. And I
Right.
like that process. And in technology, in my job with my first client, it was about truly getting to know them, understanding his goals, and then actually building a customized solution based on getting to know him. And I like that process, irrespective of what modality or skill set I was using. That process of relationship building, getting to know my client, and actually building something that's right for them that allows them to reach their said goals, that's the part that I liked a lot. And that working in the CRM in that capacity renewed my love and energy for it or whatnot. So
Yeah.
after working with him, I said a month. It actually ended up being 3.5 months because we both liked working with each other, and I liked it too as well, and I didn't mind. So after 3.5 months, I officially did help him and finish the work, and he was set to go. And then I went back to being a therapeutic chef and functional nutritionist, and I was still happy doing what I was doing. But then he started referring me to other people in his network to do more CRM consultant work. And so I took on those jobs and I was happy with it because I was working in a way that aligned with my values, similar to what I was doing in the health industry, but in a different way. And I got to the point where I was a CRM consultant, a therapeutic personal chef, and a functional nutritionist. And I was recreating that unhealthy work-life balance where I was working 10 to 12 hours again. And I said, you know what? I can't do this. Like I love all the things that I'm doing, but I have to choose one. And I actually chose being a CRM consultant. And then one of the reasons why is because like I was lightly getting a little bit burnt out with the cooking. Sometimes cooking for 8 hours straight would just like kind of burn me out. I liked it, don't get me wrong, because I knew it was going to a good, I
Right.
knew it was going to a good cause. But then in the back of my mind, I was like, man, I just want to do something where I could just use my mind and just use my mind and not have to cook every day because I'm gonna lose my love for cooking as well.
Yeah.
And I don't want to
Yeah.
lose that love for cooking for myself and for people in my family or friends or whatnot.
Yeah.
And so it kind of was a blessing in disguise where I got those opportunities as a CRM consultant and I could have the ability to choose that. And I did choose being a CRM consultant 100%. And I told my networking community, the people that really know me very well, I told them, hey, I'm pivoting back to technology. A lot of my networking partners weren't surprised. They said, hey, you're really good at technology anyways in CRM, so
Yeah.
we're still going to support you. So I was happy about that. And then some of my networking partners actually became my customers. So my transition back to technology, my network made it easy for me to do that because I've developed those good relationships, being a relationship builder, and also still using my CRMs to keep track of all my relationships in order to create those good relationships or whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of like my story and my journey to getting to where I didn't know where I wanted to go. I just know I was going away from what I didn't want to go.
Right. Right. But now you're at a place, first of all, like I laughed when you mentioned, that then he started referring people to you because like I heard be water, right? And your story, especially from that standpoint, was simply being Brandon, which is
Yeah.
profoundly being Brandon. And in being Brandon, being water, it just flowed the way that it needed to go. And all of a sudden, you are back in alignment with being able to fulfill your analytical mind that is a part of you in the technology and helping people, which is a core essence of you as well, in a different platform that you didn't think about when you were working the 10 to 12 hours, getting burned out on transactional day by day transactions, right? And very similar like in healthcare, it can be taxing, it can be draining, but there's a service that is offered and we're going through this for a reason. And I love how it came full circle. And it's like, I would have never chose this. Like I never would have picked this. I love that it happened, but
Yeah.
I could not have planned this, which makes it fun when we look at it from that lens, as opposed to, man, I can't believe I spent this much time doing X, Y, and Z. I could have started this sooner, but the lived experience, man, teaches us way more than
all those things happen for a good reason because now I'm glad I went to the holistic nutrition and culinary arts school and the functional nutrition school because now I really treat my health as a foundation to my everyday functioning. Like I need to make sure I cater to myself. I take time to commit self-care to myself, whether it's cooking for myself, whether it's getting out and moving or whatnot, because I need to make sure I take care of myself so I could be the best version of myself to bring to other people in my network, whether it's my family, whether it's my friends, whether it's my networking partners, customers, prospects. Like I want to be the sharpest mind out there or the sharpest mind better than I was the day before.
Yeah.
And that mentality was created through the health journey that I went through as well, like when I was on my switch careers or whatnot. So now, yeah, I am into the technology field, But now I take really good care of myself to make sure I could be the most optimal functioning person I was on a daily basis to provide the best service to my clients and customers, prospects, networking partners, friends, family. So yeah.
Yeah, so like all of the connections, and it's so important. Like self-care is a must. If we're not in the right headspace, how in the world can we help someone else in the right headspace or
Yeah.
get into the right headspace? I'm remembering this amazing lecture that I heard Louise Hay give, like a beautiful lecture, and what she said was she was helping so many people, or she thought she was early on in her career, and then all of the people that she thought she was helping was coming back and they're like, nothing's changing. I'm doing what you're saying, but nothing's changing. And what she realized was she wasn't practicing what she was preaching. What the advice she was giving to her clients, the things that would make a difference, she wasn't doing for herself. And then all of a sudden, when she went internally and started providing her own self-care, the rest of her life just shifted into the trajectory that she needed.
Yeah.
And so like self-care is so important because as we shift and change and transform on this journey, all of a sudden like the energy flows into those that we meet with. And then you have networking partners that are like, I'm going to introduce you to all these people who need CRM work, even though you're not a CRM consultant yet. Right. And things just start becoming what they need to be. And we're not blockading this and saying, I want this. I want this. No, I want peace. I want to help people, whatever that looks like. Let's take our attributes, our superpowers, and let's create something amazing. Right.
Yeah. And if I never made that jump to take the risk to quit my corporate steady job that was highly intense, I never would have become the person that I really enjoy being today.
Right.
You know, like I never would have took self-care as a high priority. If I stuck in that IT job, I'd probably still be mentally miserable and maybe not the most healthiest person. And by making that change, it made a bigger impact, not only me, but now I get connected and make a bigger impact for other people in my network, or whether they're a customer or networking partner. And that fully aligns with what I do. And that's what brings me joy every day. And I can't wait to wake up every day and do my work because I know I'm making an impact in a way that means a lot to me compared to what I was doing in the corporate world, where it's like, oh man, I have to get up and do this. Or now it's like, oh, I get to do this. And it's a totally different mindset in what I do. And I'm so happy that I made that change, because now I'm doing things that fully align with my values. I'm associating with people that fully align with my values.
Right.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. And ultimately, like, I don't think there is work-life balance. I think there's simply balance. Like, because if we're seeking work-life balance, then we are putting ourselves into a box of saying, at work, I'm this, and at home, I'm this. How do I balance the two me's?
Yes.
Instead, how do I be me in every situation and create balance? Right. So stepping out when we feel so drawn to change, as scary as it may be, because I have no doubt you were met with imposter syndrome. You were met with fear. You were the fear of the unknown, the fear of not making it into whatever you were trying. Like, fears creep in when we attempt to change, or we want to change, or we recognize that we need to shift because we're not comfortable. We're not comfortable being comfortable anymore, right? That stagnation that you spoke of at the very beginning is starting to grow, like the stagnant water is starting to grow mold and, the nasties in here. So I need to move, and I'm freaking scared.
Yeah.
So I want to highlight the importance of the energy and the feeling and the self-worth that comes from, as Seth Godin says, dancing with that fear and saying, all right, let's tango, let's go with this, and let's move beyond this, and let's see what we can actually do. What were some things that you did to dance with that fear, to meet that imposter syndrome in the beginning stages?
Yeah. So are you talking about dealing with the fear of like quitting my job and leaving
Yes.
stability and
Yes.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So the way I thought of it is, playing sports growing up, and my dad playing sports, he always would say to me things like all progress takes place outside the comfort zone. And he would joke with me and says he'd say things like losers play it safe, winners take risks or whatever. And so that was always in my head about, like, you know what, like I just got to get outside my comfort zone, because when I get outside my comfort zone, I'm going to be a better person for it. So I don't know what the future holds. I know I'm going to be giving up stability in terms of a good IT job. And those are the concepts in my mind that allowed me to continue to believe and stay strong. Like, yeah, I was going to school and I wasn't making money anymore, but luckily I saved up money because I made a calculated decision in terms of what I was doing. So that helped as well. But then, starting off and starting your own business, it's kind of tough in the beginning, because obviously I wasn't making the money I was when I was in my IT job.
Right.
So I said, you know what, if I keep on pushing through, keep on being me and putting in the energy that I need to help other people, things will eventually come to light. And having that, I don't know, just that persistence of not wanting to go back to what I used to do was motivation itself to allow me to continue to move forward.
I love that, man. So using what you don't want, because we all interact with things that we don't want, as a motivator to focus on what we actually do want. Right?
Yeah.
And tapping into trusting self, like, is powerful. And we need to give ourselves permission to trust ourselves, because we're freaking amazing.
Yeah.
We give
And
ourselves
believe me, like,
permission.
there are times where I had doubt, and
Of course,
do
yeah,
I have to go and get this job again?
for sure. For sure. But the persistency, right?
Yeah.
I love that, man. So what are some practical tools that someone who's listening right now is like, I've never used a CRM before in my life? Or I'm horrible at networking, I don't even know how to do it. What are some simple tools, maybe some tricks, some tips that you could bestow upon them to create a better network starting today?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the networking, like, be somebody that is just really curious and wanting to learn about people and their why. I always ask, one of the questions I always ask at people, like, when I do like a one-on-one with another potential networking partner, I ask them, is what you do today always what you've done in your career, or did you go through a journey yourself? Because now they could actually open up and talk about themselves. And people like talking about themselves. And also, too, I like hearing about people's story as well. And you should be wanting to hear people's story. And the other thing, too, as well, is never sell to somebody on the first call. Like, it shouldn't even be an option. Don't sell. Don't give a demo. Don't share your screen and give a presentation. Like, just have, like, me and you having a normal one-on-one conversation where two people are curious about learning about each other.
Mm-hmm.
When you give off that vibe, people see you as very authentic, and they'll remember you. And because they'll remember you, they're going to want to give you opportunities and support you and try to contribute to the growth of your business.
Yeah.
Obviously, we run into some people that are super salesy, and that's fine. That's just the nature of business. Like, we don't get along with everybody. And that's just the way it is. But, like, the goal, the mentality that you should come in with when you meet somebody is, like, learning more about them, learning about their journey, and asking who they help and why they help them, and how I could support you. Like, lead with service. And people see that as, wow, this person's really genuine. He really wants to get to know me. You know what? I want to return that energy and get to know him back. And because of that, I've created a really good network of people that align with my values, and we're easily able to contribute to each other's growth by giving each other referrals in the form of either prospects or other really good networking partners that lead to more prospects or whatnot. And having a CRM in place to keep track of all those interactions allow you to be even a more powerful person, aka networking ninja.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that, because ultimately networking is human connection. It's no different than when we were kids and you meet a new kid for the first time. You're not going to say, hey, come over here and I'm going to let you put together my 10 Transformers, right? No, because he might not even like Transformers. You're going to be like, hey, man, I'm Eric. What's your name? Like, let's get to know each other. And then after that, it's like, oh my God, you like Star Wars? I do too. Let's play Star Wars. And then that kind of builds into this organic attribute sharing and identification of like
and
how we actually
each
help
other
one
and
another.
supporting each other just because you built that initial bond by just having a free flowing conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, this I could go on for a really long time with this. I appreciate you. I have to tell the audience though, the listeners, like Brandon is one person that each time I've reached out to say, hey, I have this article coming out, like never fails. It is plastered on his social media. Like he is rooting for you. He's rooting for me just as much as he's rooting for himself. And like, if you're listening, please reach out to Brandon and just connect with him. Like have a one-on-one conversation with him. You will not regret it at all.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like I feel that I've succeeded when I help other people around me continue to grow and succeed. That's like my mentality of how I feel when I meet those genuine people that also really care about what they do and they care about their network or whatnot. I want to continue to contribute to their growth because their growth is also my success as well.
For sure.
And I just want to I joke with people, I just want to have, fun, enjoyable, just really good, natural, organic, non-GMO type of conversations with people. Like,
right.
just real. Like,
yeah, I love that. I love that. So for anyone wanting to reach out to you, man, where can they find you?
Yeah. You just go to healthydataguy.com. It's easy to find me and you could contact me there.
Okay.
LinkedIn, Brandon Drake, but healthydataguy.com is probably the easiest to remember. And you'll find me. And like I said, I'm Healthy Data Guy because I have a background in health and I have a background in data. Hence the reason why Healthy Data Guy is just like memory to like my past experiences.
And we're going to have all of those links below to make it easier. But man, before we say goodbye, is there anything else we may have not covered or anything else you want to share?
No, I think we've covered everything. My goal is to just continue to make solid connections with other genuine people so that we can contribute to each other's growth. And if we could do that, then we've made the world a better place. And I felt good that I could go to bed at night knowing that I put in my all, not only to help myself, but to help others.
Yeah. Awesome. Last question. What is one resource that you would recommend that completely transitioned or shifted the trajectory of your journey?
Whoa, that's a really good question. Dang. Let's see. One resource?
Yes, one resource. It doesn't matter what medium it is. Just a resource that is very impactful, or it was to you that you would recommend.
I mean, the one resource that was very impactful, it is one resource, but multiple people. So the one resource was when I started networking and then meeting people who I respected that networked the right way because I was networking the wrong way.
Gotcha.
Associated with people, and I learned how to do it the right way. So yeah, I learned a lot by talking to other people that knew how to do it the right way. So eventually I was doing it the right way and I became and graduated to be the networking ninja. So yeah. And here's the thing, like, just basically, because when you talk to more and more people, you just get better at communicating what you do, who you are. And me coming from the IT background as a typical IT guy that just wanted to do my work and go home, I didn't really have that much interaction. So by me quitting my job and starting networking, it allowed me to have to open up my shell to become the ambivert, meaning I could adapt to being an extrovert when it's needed to be.
Right.
Because I'm naturally an introvert. But I would probably say, like, the talking and the communication and going to networking events and observing people who carry themselves the right way. Like, try to connect with them,
Yeah.
try to talk to them, see how they treat other people, and try to add that skill set to your tool belt that allows you to become more valuable and more people remember you or whatnot. So yeah, it's one resource, but multiple people.
For sure.
We learn from people. Like, we
Absolutely.
learn interacting with people.
Absolutely. Yeah. Awesome, man. Thank you so much. So guys, hopefully you have resonated with this conversation and understood that our journey creates who we need to become. We go through trials, we go through things that are uncomfortable, and it prepares us to become who we are meant to be in various different ways. And then we can retrospect, look internal, and identify, well, this is why I went through this. This is why this was needed in order to bring me to now. And that is that's one of the reasons why I love Brandon's story, because it highlights that so well. And know that whatever problems you're having, whatever uncomfortableness you're going through, it's there to strengthen you. Just like putting muscles under extended weight, like, it's going to rip and tear the muscle for repair and stronger muscles. That's the way we are as well. And we continue doing that. If you need help in this, we're here for you. Reach out to Brandon, reach out to myself. That's what we're here to do. We each have our own stories, and our stories help us help other people in their stories. That's what this is. This is the Ubuntu community. And I truly am, Brandon, because you are my friend. And I love this reciprocation. I love that you took time to share with us today. And I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate this. This is great. I love all the questions in the conversation. It was keeping it real and authentic. I enjoyed it.
Awesome. Well, guys, I look forward to seeing you next time. And until then, be well and be loved. Thank you for joining me on Pep Talks with Eric, where together we shift our focus, embrace connection, and drive towards a more fulfilling life. Remember, it's not just about where you're headed, but how you choose to travel along the way. As you continue your journey, know that you have the power to change lanes and focus on the path that leads to positivity, purpose, and connection. Let's stay connected and continue empowering your journey one commute at a time. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. And until then, be well, be loved.